Well, fuck me silly. Never in all my years did I expect this one to come back. Even though I'm the one making the videos and I could have done this at any time. Yep, we're gonna pick number 3, that's for us. Clearly, so we got a new party member now, the man in the white hooded robe. In real life you have to be cautious around men in white hooded robes, but not here, not in the world of Phantasy Star. It carries a different connotation in this world. But anyway, yeah, all the way many months ago, all of 10 months ago, when I was just a wee little baby boy drooling all over myself, I made 6 episodes of Phantasy Star, and now it is back. It was between this, Sonic Frontiers, and that Flash game where Bill Cosby kills all of those people. Here are the stats, by the way. We should probably buy a proper weapon for our new party member. He's the soft and squishy mage type. He mainly uses magic, but it couldn't hurt to give him the short sword. Or is it the shit sword? It doesn't tell you. Ooh.
Blimey, mate, this isn't a short sword, this is a shit sword. It's making me hands all dirty.
Do you have your passport? You may proceed.
So the goal of what I'm trying to do at this stage of the game is I'm trying to find an optional dungeon in the east, and if you can get through to the end you can get the Iron Fang. But first we gotta take a ride in the spaceship to Palmyra. I think that's what he said, Palmyra. Palmyra is in the room. Saskatoon is in the room. Poulsbo is in the room. Bennettsville is in the room. What the heck is he referencing, you're probably wondering? Nothing that a quick and easy Google search can't inform you of.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
Gosh, they really do just put guards at every juncture. But I guess they wanted to make the game more realistic. Anyway, what I was saying was, if we can finish that optional dungeon, we can get the Iron Fang, which will be extremely useful to us. Will be almost overpowered in a sense. Will be like that kid who had to repeat kindergarten like 3 times, and he's twice the size of all of his classmates, and he can just kick them around on the playground. And of course, before we get into any hot drippy Phantasy Star action, we gotta stock up on health items, of course. I'm far enough in the game that these health items aren't particularly effective. Our best bet would be to just use healing spells, but of course those use mana, so it would be good to have a second option for when mana gets low. And what I mean by the fact that I've outgrown the usefulness of those health items is my characters are so leveled up that taking an item that gives you like 10 health is not particularly useful at this juncture. So obviously low-level guys like this aren't going to be a problem for us, but I'm thinking 3 moves ahead here for when we get to the dungeon, because even if the low-level guys can do just maybe 1 or 2 damage to us, that's going to make a difference in the dungeon, because you're going to be in there for just so damn long without any kind of healing, and the longer you're in there, the dicier it's going to get. It's like that episode of SpongeBob where they went into Sandy's tree dome and there was no water, and it just got worse and worse and worse, and so we really have to micromanage every last HP. Oh, and one other housekeeping item before we get into the aforementioned hot and drippy Phantasy Star action. In between episodes 6 and 7, there were a few things I got done on the save file, and none of that got recorded. A secretive episode 6.5, if you will. There was a new dungeon where the walls were yellow instead of blue. Let's just recap the events of that real quick.
1, 2, 3, go!
baby. Sassy. Man, I'm pretty. Do the monkey with me. Come on. Hey there, baby. Yeah, whatever.
Did you get all of that? Good, okay, so, I guess now we're basically just gonna do all of that again, but with a different pattern of hallways and differently colored walls and a much slower, obviously. I bet somebody's screaming at the computer that I didn't walk in that obvious door that was right ahead of me. I mean, I don't know if that door was going the right way or what. I mean, I clearly don't have a map here. I'm trying to emulate the experience of somebody who played this back in 1988. There were no maps back then, you just had to aimlessly wander about and hope for the best. In 1988 I meant to say. 1998 was a very different year. That was the year that The Undertaker threw mankind off of Hell in a Cell, and he plummeted 15 feet through an announcer's table. Reddit just loves that joke. 10 years running and they're still laughing about that. Speaking of, did you guys see the big Reddit protest they're doing right now where they're trying to black out the site, in their words? Honestly, when you understand the, what's the word I'm looking for here, the impetus of what started all of this, you realize it's just such a dumb and petty thing, and when are all you 40-year-old slobs gonna grow up? I mean, for God's sakes, the reason that all of these big protests started is because they're getting rid of the third-party Reddit apps, and so people are gonna have to use the main site instead. And they don't want to do that because they don't like the UI, so they'd rather stage a mass protest so they don't have to use this inferior UI. The dumbest shit in the world. Ugh. Anyway, I'm curious to see how long they're going to be able to hold out with all of that. I mean, today's just the first day of doing it. I wonder what things are going to look like in a week. You know, well, I can't actually go a week without Reddit, for God's sake. I might have to actually get up out of my chair. Then there's also rumors that the administrators of the site are basically just going to go nuclear and basically force all of the blacked out parts of the site back open by firing the mods. Well, I shouldn't say firing because it's not a job, they're not being paid, but they're going to get rid of the existing mods and replace them with new mods that will comply. It'd be pretty juicy if they did that, to be honest. I would very much like to see that. They definitely need a shake-up of moderators over there. For God's sake. And you know, the fact that everybody acts like they're some kind of hero for doing this big protest when nobody's even getting out of their chair, all of this heroism is taking place purely within an online space. For God's sakes, people. So, there's the Evil Dead enemy again. He was in the previous episodes also. I guess we can give them a pass for reusing sprites. I mean, you know, it is an 8-bit game. Still a surprising amount of variety, even in spite of that. I feel like other games from this era only had maybe like 10 or 12 enemies throughout the whole thing. Somebody should definitely count them out and see which 8-bit RPG is superior. Where, oh where, could that Iron Fang be? Remember that, the Iron Fang, the whole reason we're here?
Well, that was 5 whole minutes ago.
That was 5 whole minutes ago, Andy. Andy, I can't find my gun, Andy. I think Otis took it. No, Otis, put it down! Otis, no! So, are you guys getting tired of looking at the color blue yet? There's a little thing I could do to make this a bit more visually interesting. There, how about that? sparkly rainbows. It's that time of year after all.
I am black. I am gay. I am disabled.
Anywho, so I've been watching the 76-part Chris Chan documentary, you know, that famous one, on YouTube, and I've been wondering, you know, Chris Chan is something of a Sega guy. He has a Dreamcast. I assume he's familiar with Sega stuff beyond just Sonic. I would assume he's come into contact with a Phantasy star at some point, and I wonder what his take on this franchise would be. Well, honestly, he's probably too mentally far gone to get very far in a game like this. Seems like he's the type of guy who just buys lots of games but never actually, you know, gets anywhere in them. Just gets distracted very easily. Holy cow, there was a trapdoor. Oh yeah, and since I green screened out the blue, it shows up all over the bat. Look at him, isn't he just extra fabulous today? Wasn't there some comic strip back in the day called Extra Fabulous Comics? I feel like that was a thing. I feel like the golden age of internet comics has really passed. Oh, boomer! Boomer! But it just seems like it's at the point where I can't really think of any webcomics that I would recognize by name, and oh yeah, that one has that style. There's no more VG Cats, there's no more dueling analogs, there's no more Sunday morning breakfast cereal, there's no more Control-Alt-Delete, there's no more three-word phrase, there's no more of that, the Perry Bible Fellowship. See, webcomics used to be such a ubiquitous thing that I could name all of those just right off the bat. There were that many of them back in the day. Well, anyway, hopefully we'll find the Iron Fang by the next episode.
Colcultura presenta